Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Can you guys hear me? I wonder. Okay, there's my mic. Hey, Donna, how are you? All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to part 10. This is kind of exciting. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Clark family. So, this is part 10. So, we're going to start doing a little bit of different stuff as this takes on an organic expression. I don't know exactly what will happen with it. I know I'm having a tremendous amount of fun. Hello, Joy. Hello out there in Oregon. So in any case, so what we're going to do today is talk about a couple things, read a little bit, and I had something really wonderful happen. I discovered a huge cache of old family pictures, and I'm a history freak, as you may know. So, but I thought that we would start off. I'm going to show you two. I'm going to show you two, like one or two pictures each week, because some of them are absolutely hilarious. Some of them are very serious. This one, in fact, this is my dad when he was getting ready to go overseas in the Navy in the 60s. So that's Terry Mack Sr. That's a very serious picture, a piece of Maggart family history. And then, of course, we fast forward to the year 1985, and we take a look at Terry's prom picture. Uh, Check that tuxedo out. Yes, that is a matching teal cummerbund. Um, so, yeah. Oh, your dad's Navy? Cool. Yeah. My dad served on the USS Newport News for 4. He was in for 4. So, anyhow, I'm so stoked to find all those pictures. I have a bunch of them, and it pertains to this. I found a bunch of pictures for the first time ever when my mom, and I know you might think I look like my dad. I look exactly like my mother and my grandfather. I mean, we are dark, swarthy Polish people. But as I mentioned, we owned restaurants that were called the Pie Stand, and I found pictures for the first time ever of my mom in her Pie Stand uniform back in 1958, maybe 56 even. So it's just so cool. Just a real piece of family history for me, but a large part of why I ended up writing what I did. It's so interesting to me to see the circle come full circle. Excuse me, the circle be closed by an accident or an event or a cultural memory or something. I don't know, whatever it is that inspired me to write the way that I do, but it definitely is percolating to the top now in the form of everything that I write, especially set in halfway. Um, let's read a little bit, shall we? And then we will talk at the end of this, after a few moments, about giving away a sweet poster, because I just got some posters made from my Messenger series, and they are absolutely so cool. I can't even stand it. I posted a picture of them on my Twitter page and on my Facebook page. They are fantastic, and I would like one of you to have them. So, yeah, imprinted on my soul. Absolutely. I know that I'm genetically predisposed to love pie. So, and yet I will tell you, I've lost over 20 pounds. I started in the 260s and I'm in the 230s right now. And I still have pie. It's just that I have reasonable amounts of pie as opposed to an entire pie. So, and my goal is to be right down in the 220s by the end of summer, and just generally feeling better about myself and running and doing all the other things. So, yeah, those family joy. I can't tell you. My cousin has pictures that go all the way back into the 1870s of our family, which is just bizarre to me. And I love it so much. But I'll be sharing stuff like that. And please feel free to share your family pictures like this. If you have cool stuff like this, I would like to talk more to you on my page, because you guys show up here and etc. So I'd like it to be more of a two-way conversation. So anyway, let's begin, shall we? So we're going back to where Major Pickford is meeting Carly, and we don't really know a lot about him. Um, yeah, unless a bear is chasing you. So, okay. He ran one hand over his short blonde hair, but it was nerves rather than a decision to lie. I'm an investigator of sorts. That got my attention. There was no crime associated with Tyler's stupidity in the woods, so that meant something different. Despite living in the open, I like my privacy. I watched him warily and wondered if he knew about my talents. I raised my shoulders in a small shrug, indicating that he should continue. So far, I didn't trust Major, even if the sun made his eyes seem like friendly little jewels made just for me. I looked over his expensive, unworn boots and his general tidiness. I like a well-groomed man, but he seemed a little too much of a city boy for my tastes. During my ruminations, he watched me for a moment. He took the hint. How about if I start by telling you what I'm looking for? I thought it over, then shook my head. I already knew it had something to do with that picture. A simple divination spell could tell me much more than he realized. Nope. What exactly is your job? He looked at the set of my lips and gave up. Okay, I actually am an investigator, just not someone who looks for criminals. I look for lost things, things that haven't been found when they need to be found. So, he was a diviner too. He just used non magical means. Okay, so far, I'm not freaked out. Now tell me who you work for. Ah, that's the least interesting part of my story. I work for a soul sucking, gigantic corporation who makes lots of different things, but they have a particular interest in food technology, among other things, he said. I broke in, holding one chipped nail. I really needed a fresh coat of polish, up dramatically, or at least with as much drama as I could muster while sitting down. To really create a scene, you need to be standing so you can point skyward and shout Eureka or something. I was too comfortable to do that, so I went with a modest display and a mild ha. Stop right there. What other things does this mysterious corporation have interests in? To me, the devil is always in the details. What's unsaid would no doubt be more interesting than what Major told me up front, and I didn't want this going any farther without the whole story. If I'm running, you better be too. Yeah, I think we can agree that there's really only two types of people: people who run out of some sort of punitive experience like me, or people who run because they're running from a bear. That's basically it. So fair enough, but well, he dragged his feet, so to speak, until I quirked a brow at him. They make the following things: decorative wares, furniture, high-end food gifts, some sort of nautical stuff, I'm not really sure what, and a huge variety of kids' toys. I work exclusively for the food divisions, so I'm not entirely sure about all the other details. Like I said, it's a big company, and I'm usually out in the field or in a city somewhere. That was quite a variety. The list didn't exactly ring of evil, so I thought it over for a moment, tapping my teeth with the aforementioned chipped nail. So are you a real investigator, or do you always enlist locals to help solve your problems? I grinned at him, wondering if he would see me as mean or just feisty. I hoped it was the latter. I'm a white witch through and through. I don't do vicious. He smiled, telling me that he took my comment in stride. It seems arrogant to assume I know more about a place than a local would. Point for you, young man. I thought, all right, so far I'm listening. Tell me about this picture. What should I be squeeing over? He didn't hesitate. Back there, this ring of giant trees, he indicated the huge trunks beyond Tyler's hapless face. They're worth a dump truck full of money. Stop right there. I held up a hand as anger flushed my face. The last thing I was going to do was help someone log illegally in the pristine forest behind my own home. You're well past ballsy if you think I'm going to help you. I don't want to cut him down, he interrupted. You don't? I was quelled for a moment. After chewing that over, I said, okay, then what? I admit I was stumped. Come on, that's hilarious. Fine, whatever. Not at all. Stumped, get it, right? No? Okay. uh, my company wants that so much they sent me with instructions that if I harm anything in the forest, I shouldn't bother coming back. At my incredulous expression, He nodded quickly to confirm his statement. Seriously, I really need to do this since the company owner has plans that are, well, they go beyond simple profit. Now you've really got my interest. What's more important to your company than money? I asked. He waved around us as a sort of recognition at the mountains. These trees, they're sort of holdouts, like a lone soldier on the ramparts, that kind of thing. What kind of trees? I asked, taking the phone and looking closely at the screen. They were only massive trunks visible. The leaves were clearly high above the canopy. Chestnuts, American chestnuts, or Castanea dentate, if you really want to be specific. He grinned at how underwhelmed I was by this revelation. As a witch, I know plant life, but my interests are primarily focused on smaller herbs, roots, and berries. I use the occasional commentary. Can you guys hear this noise? Michael, you can't dragon right now. Michael, I apologize. That is my 135-pound Newfie who does a behavior that I don't exactly know in giant dogs, where he lays on his back and goes like that. And he does it for like 10 minutes a day, twice a day. So he's done now. I apologize. Gran hadn't mentioned a chestnut in any spells, and it seemed that like the species was just unused in our own familial magic. I hate to seem unimpressed, but excuse me if I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Is there something special about your company that it should care about these trees? Yes, dendrology. What a fantastic word. Thank you, Joy. It isn't the company that cares so much as a CEO, and you're right, there's nothing special about Pickford Holdings. Not really, anyway, he allowed, then looked slightly abashed at revealing the company name. I twitched a little, saying, I don't really do the whole coy mystery guy thing. Is it your company? And if so, why are you sitting here in Halfway trying to talk a stranger into tromping through the woods to find some magic trees? I was a little curious, though. He cleared his throat. Well, it isn't my project. The CEO is sort of a, I guess you would say, tree hugger, and she wants to find the American chestnut to do some good in the world. Kind of a plant-based karma thing. So she sent her son? I asked. Grandson, he corrected. Yeah, they got killed by that blight. 4 billion trees killed by one blight. Anyway, I'm re-riling. I have to keep reading. I apologize. Grandson, he corrected, and yes, because of this idiot Tyler Venture, we have a picture of the last living stand of American chestnuts. A blight killed off about 4 billion of them last century. I'm repeating myself. And with it went a huge part of rural living. Your grandmother grew up poor? It seemed logical to ask. He smiled at my insight. She can tell me in detail how rats taste and how long it takes to boil grass and a handful of flour. 3 of her siblings died in a roughhouse next to a quarry in rural Pennsylvania. She knows poor like we'll never see, and she's getting on in years. When she saw this picture, don't ask me how, but she did, she recognized the trees immediately. Over dinner, she told me of having nothing but chestnut flour and milk from a goat, mind you. The whole family of 11 lived off that for an entire fall. It's part crusade, part her chasing some dream of her youth, maybe. He smiled ruefully, adding, I think she knows that her years are short and she wants to restore something beautiful. These trees, which she assures me are magnificent, are her way of reaching back into the past and keeping something good from a starved time. I felt myself liking this unseen lady. So are we to believe that 4 billion trees died except for a handful that this dope Tyler Venture stumbled upon out in the backyard of Halfway? He laughed at the improbability. In a word, yeah. There's some kind of anomaly, a genetic twist of fate. If they can be seeded across their former range, it will change the composition of the forest to what it once was. They were the king of the woods, and now they're gone. I think they might be worth finding. He spoke with more conviction than a simple employee, and I could feel the passion underneath his enthusiasm. He wasn't a zealot, but he was more than a drone. I found my curiosity growing. So you propose that I take a stranger who might have a closet full of human heads into the deep Adirondacks in order to find a lost variety of tree. in order to fulfill a sense of altruism based on his grandmother's really crappy childhood. Does that about sum it up? I asked. You left out the part where I have a fetish for women's hair or something like that. Maybe I drive a van with free candy painted on the side. His grin verged into an open laugh. Two questions come to mind. May I ask them before this craziness goes any further? I needed a bit more information before I could tell him he was nuts. Go ahead, please. He seemed to earnestly listen. And another point for the handsome feller. Why me? There are about 1 billion guides in the park, many of whom have legs that can cover more than my own limited natural range. I wiggled my feet to draw attention to my lack of height. I'm comfortable admitting that I'll never be able to reach things in upper cabinets. Fair enough, he agreed. I don't want a guide. I want a local. I saw you at the diner, and I talked to a few people in town. Your reputation as a naturalist is excellent. What was your second question? Okay. You're aware that I work, so you must have a plan for this search to be a rather precise journey, I take it? I asked. This was the kicker. I wasn't going anywhere for a week that didn't have room service and a beach. Major raised a finger as if I'd scored a point. Excellent question. The answer is, I've gotten some expert advice based on the series of pictures. I have a pretty good idea where to go, but I need some assistance. To be clear, this is strictly a confirmation trip, nothing more. I want to take pictures, nip a leaf or two, and ping the location with my GPS. That's it. You have my solemn word, for whatever it's worth, that I will not harm any tree in any way, period. He seemed truthful, but I have a lively sense of distrust. And what about the people who come after us? Will they be doing any harm to the woods? Absolutely not. Anyone who follows us will value those trees like they're made of platinum. I wasn't kidding around when I said they're valuable. The effects of restoring the American forests to a former state of glory present an almost incalculable opportunity for wealth. That's on top of the serious appeal that doing something so noble might have with the general public, let alone our customers. I don't think I'm even capable of understanding all of the repercussions that might result. The death of these forest giants wasn't a natural event. It was brought about by man. This is a chance to undo a great wrong. He folded his arms in conclusion, and I noticed his muscles ripple under the skin. He was no cubicle wonk. That much was certain. Okay. He relaxed into a broad smile. So we will end there for today. And lest you think that I am a full-blown environmentalist dork, I'm not, but I do love the planet in the sense that I love the woods and I love the ocean and everything because it was part of my life growing up and everything. I don't know if any of you have actually read this book, but there is a lot of truth in this book from my own family history that goes back 160 years that I know of. Thendara, New York, did exist. It was so tiny it was not on any map, and it doesn't exist anymore. But that's where my great-grandparents grew up, and my great-great-grandparents. And there's so many things in this that I hope you do read the book. If not, I mean, if you can, if it's your jam, I want you to enjoy it. But when you do read it, realize that a lot of what you're seeing is my actual history. Like my great-grandparents lived until I was in my 20s. They were sober and lucid to the end of their lives. I know everything that happened in New York State where the poor folks were all through the 1800s because of an oral tradition handed down. And I will leave you with two things tonight because I've been yapping too long. One, my great-grandfather's name was Hayes Bentley Golden. My great-grandmother's name was Olive Ivana Denslow. And they met at the Boonville County Fair in 1907. And he said that she went to get up onto the carousel. And this is his direct quote to me. He said, Ollie got up on that carousel and I saw that trim ankle. And because he saw her ankle under her dress and he knew she was thin and shapely. And I love that. That's their meet cute from the year 1907. So The other thing is, the last thing I'll leave you with is, if you have read or reviewed any of my Starcaster, uh, excuse me, not Starcaster, the Messenger books, please let me know, because you're automatically entered to win one of these big posters. And I'm going to give one of the posters away. So go to my Facebook page, say, hey, man, I read the Messenger, and I tolerated it. And I don't care what the review is, just as long as you remark that you read it. And somebody is going to win one of those beautiful posters. And please go check out the picture, because they're just, oh, yeah. Donna, I continue to put on, I am not showing you my ankles. um, but yeah, I put a ton of my family history because I have such deep family history, and I think we all do. If you do a little research, you will find how interesting your family is. Interesting can be one of two things. It can be fascinating or horrifying. Interesting works both ways. So thank you very much for joining me. It has been lovely. Thank you for the comments. Stop by my Facebook page. Bring friends here if you can, so that we can have more people. And that's it for this. I will see you next week. Okay, thanks.